So I'm just waking up to the midst of this trade. But yesterday we had a class, and it was almost immediately after we had that class that I took this trade yesterday. So I want to explain the trade for you guys, those of you that attended and those that could not attend and those that slept off while the class was going on. So first of all, you have this uptrend structure, right? So you have this uptrend structure. You have the low here, you have the high, you have another low, another high, another low, a high, low, high, right? And then you now have a low. Now this low has already broken structure. This low has already broken structure here. That's up here. There was a structure over here, and the low has broken. So as you can see, this structure over here is already been broken by this downtrending market. But then again, because the structure was broken does not mean that the trend has shifted from an uptrend to a downtrend, just like I said. So that some lows are taken out does not mean that in the grand scheme of things that the market is changing its direction. So in yesterday's class, I told you guys that before the market does anything, it must first of all take out liquidity. So I would like all of you to understand that all of these things you are seeing over here, everything from this point all the way up here, are all liquidities. So what did the market do? The market takes out liquidity. Then after taking out liquidity, what does it do? It will tap into a fair value gap. Not any fair value gap now, a nested fair value gap. And yesterday we looked into the rules concerning nested fair value gaps, as general. First of all, I told you that if we have consecutive candles that are the same color and they are above 3, that is, the candles that are forming this consecutiveness are more than 3, they are the same color, and of course they are consecutive, then every candle except the first and last candle is what I'm going to be considering as my fair value gap. So as you can see, over here, we have candle number 1, we have candle number 2, candle number 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? Now all of these candles, they are all consecutive. So I'll be considering only the I'll be considering everything in the middle to be my fair value gap except the first and last candle. And not just that, I'm going to be looking for a fair value gap that is nested. That is a fair value gap that contains an order block or whatever it is. A fair value gap that contains an order block or whatever. So along this line, the only fair value gap that contains an order block is this particular one. So the only fair value gap that contains an order block is this fair value gap right here, right? This fair value gap here contains an order block. So, and the order block is right here. If you go to the lower time frame, you see it clearly. So what did I do? I waited for price to tap into that fair value gap and tap into the nest of the fair value gap like I thought yesterday. So now once price did that, as you can see, gave us a very beautiful entry and a very powerful risk to reward. I'll attach the screenshot of how much I've made so far on this trade. And that's it for everyone. Okay, I think I had an entry of such on gold also, but I did not take the entry because by the time I wanted to place the trade, the market had already closed. So that's it but let me just explain the gold trade. So in this case here, we have 3 consecutive candles. This is like the case of the regular order block, right? So we have 3 consecutive candles here. We have let me mark them out. We have candle number 1, which is this doji over here. Sorry. We have candle number 1, which is this doji over here. We have candle number 2, and we have candle number 3 up here. So that's the regular order block that everybody knows about. But then again, we want to enter a buy. Although in the grand scheme of things, this particular swing point is not really that valid. But then again, gold is already in an uptrend, so we want to catch a continuation buy for scalpers. Though that's why I didn't take this trade, because I'm not a scalper anymore, sha. So we just wait for price to come back and tap into a fair value gap, and not just a fair value gap, a nested fair value gap. And the fair value gap must fall below the 50% level of the PD array. So if you plot your FIP from the swing low down here up to that swing high, you would see that the particular area that we are looking at falls below the 50%. Let me show you. This here is the 50%. Oops, that's too wide. So that's the 50%, right? And then as you can see, the fair value gap falls below that 50%. All right, so the fair value gap falls below this particular line here, right? So that's below the 50%. Okay, and then price comes, let's delete this. Price comes and taps into that fair value gap, and not just tapping into the fair value gap, it taps into a nest that is contained in the fair value gap. So it taps into this here, up here. Good. And then from there, as you can see, it just gave a very nice push to the upside. Will the push continue? I don't know. Well, like I said, this was supposed to be a scalping setup, so the push will continue or not, I have totally no idea. It's the forex market anyway. So that's how it's done. And if you have any more questions, or any questions at all, you just come to my DM, whatever it is, and then we'll talk about it. Have a nice day. Bye. Oh yes, let me screen